Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another review of the Real Housewives of Potomac Reunion Part 2. So we start off where we left off in the last episode, which is in the middle of Candace and Mia going at it. So they're going back and forth. Everything is all over the place. And it's all coming from, the comments that Candace had made about Mia's mother. And so they're going back and forth about that. And Candace not taking accountability. And Giselle and Karen were trying to let Candace know that the way you respond to things that are said to you is a little bit you go too far. It's okay to defend yourself and it's okay to throw jabs at someone because that's what these shows are all about. But you go too far and your response doesn't really match what was thrown at you. So someone throws a stone at you and then you just start, throwing bullets and boulders and anything you get your hands on when whatever was said to you was definitely, it wasn't a good thing that was said to you, but it wasn't like extremely hurtful or painful or whatever. But then when you respond back, you just really go for the jugular. So someone can be talking about something that they didn't like. For example, when Mia said her video was low budget, talking about her video shoot being low budget, yes, that's insulting. This is her pride and joy. This is her career. This is her passion. Someone saying to you, oh, your video is low budget, that's one thing. But then you bring up her mother and then you act like you don't know what her mom is going through and you bring up her mother purposely to hurt her. So you responding with your mother's low budget, knowing what her mother has been through, because I believe that Candace knew, knowing what her mother has been through doesn't match her saying that your video is low budget. Because if she's attacking your career, your business, you can attack her career, her business. Or how about this? Why don't you attack Mia herself? Why are you bringing in a woman who's innocent, who's got nothing to do with whatever issues y'all have going on, and who has her own issues, who was struggling with her own things? So that was the whole point of when you come back really hard and you come back really, really personal. And it doesn't match what was given to you. We're not saying don't defend yourself. We're not saying don't throw jabs at other people who are throwing jabs at you. Yes, go toe to toe with people, but you don't have to go so far and beyond into attacking them personally. You just don't have to go, you don't have to go for the jugular every single time. And that was the whole point. But I don't think Candace understood that because she was still defending herself, saying that, well, y'all do it too, so I don't understand why it's a big deal when I do it. When they went on break, they showed a clip of Wendy going into Candace's room, her dressing room, and they were having a conversation. And I think Wendy was trying to like say the same thing that Karen and Giselle were saying. And Candace said, well, I wouldn't have to unleash this lethal tongue of mine if people would just leave me alone. They're not going to leave you alone. That's not going to happen. You're on a reality TV show that is rooted in mess. It's rooted in people attacking each other and people being messy and people dragging each other. So they're not going to leave you alone. You just need to learn how to fight smarter and not so hurtful. I don't know how to say it, but she doesn't get it. She thinks that she's in the right. She thinks that she's just like everybody else, that her attacks are just like everybody else's attacks, and so she doesn't understand. Then Candace had said something about how she had acknowledged that she was really gutter with Mia, that she went really low with Mia, but she said she could have gone even lower. And I thought to myself, how much lower could you have gone? You talked about her mother who was, trying to recover from addiction. You talked about her career as a sex worker or a stripper. You talked about, you called her a whore, a hooker. Her husband found her on the streets, on the corner. You called her husband a pimp. You said her husband was pimping her out. How much more gutter could you have gotten? Could you have gone, Candace, if those are the things that you were saying to her? Then they talked about Mia, how Mia has become this year's social media bully. First it was Candace, now it's Mia. Mia obviously felt some kind of way with the things that were said about her on the show and the things that were said to her on the show. And I'm assuming the things that were said about her on social media by the public, because she went really hard on social media. She alleged that Chris Bassett was wanted to be with her or was attracted to her in some way. She attacked Ascala. I think Chris Bassett he's too scared of Candace to look at any other one, to even have the thought of looking at another woman. I don't even think he thinks about his own mother for the simple fact that she's another female because he's so scared of Candace. There's no way Chris Bassett would show any interest in Mia. So, anyways, moving on. Mia attacked a scholar, calling her out for her fashion, I think. I don't know. I'm like, why would you talk about a scholar? She's such a non-factor on this show. And I'm not even trying to be mean. A scholar, she barely said anything, barely did anything. She was a friend of the show. Why are you attacking a scholar? And then Mia tried to hide or try to justify her social media attacks by saying, "Oh, I have a social media manager, and she's the one that controls my social media." The women attacked that. They shredded that excuse into a million pieces, and they're like, no, there's no way it's your social media. It's definitely you. It is all you. And then she had to cop to it and say, yeah, it was me saying those things. Whatever. Moving on. Then we move on to Karen and Giselle. So Karen and Giselle, they talked about their beef. They've been beefing for a very long time. It went back and forth, back and forth. When they show clips of Karen's children, especially when they showed the clip of Karen and Ray kissing at their anniversary or whatever the hell that was, and her children were there, and they showed her daughter and they showed her son. Her children look like they know a lot about Ray and Karen, that if we were to find out exactly what they knew, it would probably completely blow up Karen and Ray's marriage. I don't know. Her children look like they know a lot about Karen and Ray. And if we knew just like 1/8 of what they know about those two people, it would probably blow our minds. That's how they looked when they showed the clips. So Karen and Giselle talk about their issues and all the stuff that they threw at each other, all the insults that they threw at each other. They went back and forth with that. And then they ended up basically resolving their beef. Giselle said that when Karen showed up at her Shady Not Shady event, it really touched her how Karen greeted her children and hugged her children, and it really made Giselle feel some kind of way. And so because of that, they squashed their beef. And Karen was like, yeah, it's been going on too long, and I think you're a wonderful mother. And Karen got emotional, and Giselle was crying. And Andy pointed out to Giselle, this is the first time that I've ever seen you show any kind of emotion. You know what? Side note on Giselle. Why can't Giselle keep a relationship? Not saying that she needs to have a relationship or that she needs to have a man in her life. I'm not saying that at all. Evidently, she wants to be in a relationship because she's always in one. They last about 3 seconds, but she's always in a relationship. Why can't she keep a relationship going? She's on paper. She's a catch. She's beautiful. She's accomplished. She's successful. She has her own money. She's a great mother. Like, why can't you keep these relationships going? Something about Giselle is so robotic. It's true. I don't know why her children called her a vampire, because when I think of a vampire, I think of something that's like sucking the life out of something. Maybe that's what she does. She sucks the life out of her relationships. Giselle, to me, is someone who I believe her whole life her whole life was, okay, how do I say this? She didn't have to worry about developing a personality because she got by on her looks. And for those of y'all who know, y'all know what I'm talking about. She got by on her looks. And maybe for the average woman would have to, when you meet someone or whatever, even if it's just like a friendship, when you make friends, you have to kind of have a personality. You have to be smarter. You have to be funnier. You have to be charming. And the same thing in the dating world. If you want to keep a attractive man, not only do you have to be attractive, but you also have to be a good conversationalist, and you have to cook, and you have to clean, and you have to, I don't know, be funny and have a great personality. For the average woman, maybe, you have to kind of work hard at it and developing who you are and developing your personality. Whereas some people, things are just kind of given to them. Men just flock to them. People just flock to them because of the way they look. And I think Giselle was one of those people. She always had people around her. She always had people who wanted to be her friend. She always had men who wanted to date her because of her looks. Okay, she kind of fit this certain category in the African American community that kind of made her more desired in so many different ways, not just like romantically, but also like in friendships, maybe also career wise. I don't know, because of her looks. So she didn't have to develop a personality. She didn't have to work hard at being funny because, on this show, they talk about how she cannot read, how, she has to have her reads fed to her, how she doesn't have a personality, how they talk about how flat she is all the time. She doesn't have any fashion sense. And she probably didn't have to know any of this or learn how to do any of these things because people just flocked to her. People just gave her whatever she wanted because of her looks. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. But why can't she keep a relationship going? What is it about Giselle where she can get the men, but she can't keep them? Once again, I'm not saying that she needs to have a man in her life or that she needs to keep a man in her life or that a man is necessary in anybody's life. All I'm saying is, evidently, she wants to be in a relationship. She wants to be in one so bad that she had this fake relationship with her ex-husband. She's always dating someone, and these relationships come and go. At the last episode of this season, the very last episode, she was dating someone. And then part one of the reunion, they're not together anymore. And it's like, it wasn't that much time that passed between the last episode filming and the first day of the reunion. Not that much time went by. So she had a man, then she lost him. Then she had another one who I'm thinking she lost again. So, like, why can't, anyways, moving on. So Michelle, Giselle and Karen, they hug it out. They're, friends again. And let's just see how long that's going to last next season if they're both back. But I hope that it does last. That they are serious about being friends and making up because whatever beef they had was just stupid. But I don't think it's going to last because you're not going to have a show if you're not going to have a Giselle and Karen beef. Moving on to Ashley. Ashley talks about her postpartum. They showed, the whole placenta thing and encapsulating her placenta to help with postpartum depression, which I've definitely heard of that if you encapsulate your placenta and you take those pills, it helps with the postpartum depression. And I think it also has some other health benefits. It showed the clip of the producer about to lose his lunch because he had to be there when they were filming the placenta being processed. They talked about Michael and his movie making business. I don't know what's going on with that. The women on the show were alleging that maybe he's going to be into adult filmmaking. I have no idea what's going on with that. I don't know. Good luck with that, Michael. And then they talked about Ashley and Michael's intimacy issues. Evidently, that's all fine now. And then they talked about Candace's body shaming comments to Ashley. She talked about Ashley's body size, calling her, her wide bodied ass. They talked about, Candace talking about her constantly pumping or her breast milk or whatever, just constantly shaming her about her postpartum body. So let's get into that part. Of course, Candace denied it. She said, I wasn't body shaming her. I wasn't body shaming her postpartum body. I was just commenting that she had a wide body, as if to say that Ashley has always had a wide body, but she didn't. She only gained weight after she had her children. And you were definitely body shaming her. That's exactly what it was. And can we just take accountability for once? You said the woman had a wide body, and you're saying that because she gained weight, and she gained weight because she had babies. So, yes, you're shaming her postpartum body. So then they asked Ashley, okay, so you didn't like it when Candace said those things about your body, but you had no issue with Michael saying those things about your body. Now, Michael did not insult his wife the way Candace did. He wasn't calling her names or saying anything derogatory. But when they were in the car, when they showed the scene where Ashley and Michael were in the car, and they were talking about their intimacy issues or something like that. And then Michael made that comment about, well, and it seems like you're getting your body back. That to me screamed out that he was expecting her to snap right back. Like he wasn't going to tolerate her being 1 ounce over what she was when they met. That's what that told me. Michael himself is health conscious. It seems like it because he works out and all that other stuff. And it seems like he's expecting his wife to also be fit. And I don't think he cares about her being healthy. I think he just wants her body a certain size. That's what I think. He married a trophy wife. He wanted a young, good-looking woman, and that's what he expects to have throughout his marriage. So, and I think it's an understanding for them that she has to maintain her looks, to keep him happy. So, both of them referring to her body was wrong. Candace was wrong, and I think Michael was wrong. Now, Ashley, because that's her husband, and she's always going to defend Michael, she defended her husband by saying, "Oh, this is something that me and Michael talked about, and I've expressed the same desires for my body. I've expressed to him that I want to get back into shape. So this is something that we talked about, and we are both in agreement that I was going to, get healthy again and get back to my, pre-baby body size or whatever." So yeah, whatever. We know, okay, Ashley, yeah, we get it. You wanted a snap back too. Fine, whatever. But your husband should not make it seem like it is a condition of him being with you, or it is something that he's expecting you to be, especially after giving birth to his children. You're not just someone who just let themselves go, by overeating. You were carrying and birthing his children, and he should respect your body and appreciate your body regardless of the size that it became after you had his babies. So it was, and I think it should have hurt more coming from Michael than coming from Candace. Candace, you and Candace, y'all are always going to be this way, but that's your husband. He should love you and accept you no matter what size you are. So Candace, Ashley, you should have checked him like the way you're checking Candace. Okay, so they talked about that, and then they talked about the whole a viewer asked, the question was, is Candace jealous that Ashley had children before her? And then, Candace made this big joke about it, like, "Oh my God, yeah, I'm so jealous of Ashley because she had kids before me." I do think that Candace has a lot of issues with Ashley. One of them being the whole Monique thing, how Ashley sided with Monique. And I think also that fueled or exasperated her own jealousy for Ashley. I kind of believe that Candace is jealous of Ashley. Because the way that she just hates, it seems like she really, really hates this girl. And the things that she says, calling her husband a slave driver, an overseer, and all of that, I feel like this Candace really, really hates Ashley. And I think that hate comes from jealousy, and of course comes from her siding with Monique and still being friends with Monique. When she felt, I guess, like, because, Ashley had brought up the whole thing about, you said some really horrible things to me, and then they bring up the whole slave comment. And I guess when Candace felt attacked by that and was kind of saw herself backed up into a corner because she did say those things, and those things should not have been said, she comes out with, "Well, you said things about my hair. I'm a black woman, and you've made reference to my hair being dry, and you can't say that about a black woman's hair." And I was like, "What?" She said your hair. Oh, see, when Ashley said that her hair was dry, I thought she was talking about her wigs being dry. I didn't think she was talking about her actual hair being dry. So I was confused. I was late to the party with that one. So, but I didn't see that as any kind of, like, I didn't see that as a colorist comment at all. She said her hair was dry. I didn't see that as being colorist. She didn't say her hair was nappy. She didn't say her hair was kinky. She didn't say, anything about the texture of her hair. She said her hair was dry. And anybody can get dry hair. White people get dry hair. Black people get dry hair. Mixed people get dry hair. Anybody can get dry hair. I didn't see that as a colorist statement, but Candace made it seem like it was a colorist statement. And then, Wendy jumped on that bandwagon as well. Now, I noticed in the reunion, I didn't see this so much during the season, but on the reunion that Candace and Wendy are like, they're there for each other. They're backing each other up. And I think it's because they're the only two dark-skinned women on this show, and they feel the need to support each other. So, moving on. So, Ashley defended herself and said, I wasn't trying to be colorist. She goes, I agree with you that there is light skin and white privilege. I'm not denying that at all, but I wasn't trying to be colorist. And then Wendy asked Ashley, well, do you believe that there's a colorism issue within this group? And Ashley says, no, she hasn't seen any of that. I don't think I haven't seen it. I don't know. Maybe things are going on behind the scenes. I don't know. But I haven't seen any type of colorist issues on this show. Robin and Giselle are very, very, very close, but Ashley is not close with them. Karen and Giselle were beefing, so they were not even close. So I don't see like the light skins versus dark skin. I don't see how I haven't seen the light skinned women get any more special treatment than the dark skinned women on this show. Now, I'm not on Twitter, I'm not on social media following these women or reading up on them, so I don't know if there's stuff going on in social media that might have some type of evidence of colorism. I don't know, but I have not seen it on the show amongst the women on camera. Behind the scenes, I have no clue. But on camera, I haven't seen any type of colorist issues. But Wendy seems to believe that there is some type of colorism going on the show. Okay, moving on from that. So Andy brought up how Ashley and Candace had hung out because, Andy says, y'all had recently hung out in New York and they went to New York Fashion Week and I guess they went there together. I don't know. They showed a picture of Ashley and Candace together with a third party. And I was surprised. I was shocked. I was like, oh my God, because the way that they go after each other, I wouldn't believe that they hung out anywhere together. I wouldn't think that they even want to be in the same zip code. So Andy asked, someone asked, I think it was Robin. Robin brings up, okay, so let me back up. Candace talked about how she was really hurt with Ashley making that statement for Monique. But Ashley said, I didn't think that was going to affect you the way it did. I didn't think you would care that I made that statement because it seems like, Candace really, really disliked Ashley. Now, I think that before that whole fight incident, I think I remember Ashley and Candace kind of sort of getting along. And then they had that Halloween party, or that costume party, where it was revealed to Candace that Ashley made a statement for Monique. And that's when Ashley was done. That's when Candace was done with Ashley. It was at that costume party. Up until then, I think that they were kind of like on this road of kind of patching things up a little bit. But as soon as Candace found out that Ashley made that statement for Monique to help Monique's case, that's when Candace was like, I'm through with you, Ashley. And she cussed her out and she was done. So Robin said, well, because Ashley never intended to hurt you, and Ashley, I don't think did it purposely to hurt Candace. I think Ashley did it because she felt like she owed Monique a favor for Monique destroying the footage of Michael sexually harassing or violating one of the cameramen at Monique's house. So Ashley felt the need to return the favor for Monique. I don't think it was, oh my God, I believe that Monique is innocent and Ashley's wrong. I don't think Ashley cared one way or the other. But when Monique came to her and said, hey, can you do this thing for me? Because you know what I did for you. That's when Ashley felt the need to write the statement. It wasn't personal. I think it was strictly, it was business. It's like, I did this for you. You're going to do this for me. And I think that's how it was. But Candace took it real personal, as if Ashley was purposely trying to destroy her case, which I don't think Ashley was. Ashley didn't care. Ashley needed to do what Ashley needed to do to protect her husband. So the question was asked, I think Andy asked, could you possibly move on, with Ashley? Can y'all, mend y'all's broken friendship, broken relationship, and move on? And Candace said, I don't know. I think that Ashley is definitely willing to make up with Candace. I think that because Ashley doesn't hold a grudge. Ashley doesn't care. Ashley just wants to be on this show and make her money. I think that Ashley would definitely move on with Candace. I think she is ready to let bygones be bygones. Candace, not so much. Candace is not there yet because I think Candace has a lot of hate for Ashley for the whole Monique thing. And I do believe that she does have jealousy for her because of the fact that maybe, number one, Ashley has a husband that can financially support her easily because Candace says something about you need to make your money on your own. You're not. She says something alluding to the fact of the money that you have is not yours; it's your husband's money, and you have nothing to show for it other than you have nothing. You are where you're at because of your husband. Like who cares? The money is the money's there. She's using it. So I think she's jealous because the fact that Ashley has a man who can financially take care of her. And I think she's also jealous because possibly the whole baby thing. That's a real thing. And it's a natural, normal thing. If you really want something and someone else has what you really long for, yeah, you might feel jealous about that. And because they have no friendship, that can really fuel that jealousy. But yeah, Candace doesn't want to be friends with her. She's not ready now. Then they move on to Wendy. So they show Wendy's whole package. So the question was, okay, Wendy, exactly. Okay, no, let's not even go there yet. Let's talk about Wendy's candles. So the candle talk, who cares? Wendy wanted to do some candles. Karen was going to be her mentor. Karen didn't tell Wendy that she had her own candles. That was kind of shady. Who knows? Who cares? Like Karen said, there's enough money for everybody in the candle making business. Now, evidently, Mia has her own candle line. And then Andy, being as shady as he is, pointed out that how come, Mia was able to get her candles on the shelves before either one of them or both of them. I don't know which one still doesn't have their candles out. And who knows, but even Mia has her own candles. And then Wendy said something about how, well, now she's got a 7-wick candle. Like, who the hell needs a 7-wick? Anyways, moving on. So, candle talk, who cares? Then the question was asked to Wendy, girl, what all you got done on your body? Like, what did you have done? We need to know in detail. What kind of plastic surgery did you get done on your body? And Wendy says that she got a breast lift. She got breast implants. She got a BBL. Then she got liposuction. She goes, and that's all. That's all I had. That's it. As if that's not a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot of work. It's okay. It was done very, very well. Her body is gorgeous. Yes, she looks wonderful, but that was a lot of work, Wendy. And then she says that, the women were body shaming her. She didn't like that. They were obviously, and they definitely were, because, of course they made those comments, either Giselle or Robin, or both of them, made the comment about how she had to have all this work done to try to keep her man because of these rumors about Eddie being unfaithful. Now, that was a horrible thing to say, because that's very, and Wendy said that statement is rooted in misogyny, and it really, really, really is. What kind of woman believes that another woman would get surgery, just to keep a man? Like, the possibility or the thought that a woman would want to enhance her body for her own reasons is just that foreign to you. Like, that's not even a possibility. Like, oh, she got her boobs, and oh, she must be because she's losing her man and she's just trying to keep her man. That's disgusting. So they talk about all the work that she had done. They talked about how the women did body shame her. And then Robin, I think, made a really good point when she said that I wasn't really talking about your body. I was talking about how your personality had changed since you had your work done, because last year you were walking around demanding people calling you Dr. Wendy, and this year, you're dropping it like it's hot. You're making all these TikTok videos. You're just different. We're not saying that Robin was only talking of herself. I'm not saying that you should not have gotten the work done or anything about the cosmetic surgery. I'm just saying that your personality had changed and you seemed a lot looser. Well, when she said looser, Wendy didn't like that. Wendy was like, you don't call a woman loose. You cannot use it when you're referring to a woman. You cannot use the word loose. And Robin said, I didn't mean loose like sexually loose. I mean loose as in you seemed a lot more freer, more relaxed. You weren't that uptight Wendy that you were last year. You weren't Dr. Wendy. You were like Wendy. And Wendy didn't get that. She was like, no, you cannot. Like, what's wrong with the term loose? Your personality is a little bit looser. You're a little bit more, like, I didn't get why Wendy was so offended by the word loose. It seemed like she was projecting something else. So then, okay, and so then they talked about that, and then, Wendy tried to say that the women were body shaming her and saying that, all they really needed to do was just to have a conversation with her, and no one did. No one came to me to have a conversation with me about the work that I did, that I had done on my body. Everybody was talking behind my back, whispering, making all these horrible allegations about Eddie, that I did this to keep Eddie, and which is true. If you want to know, just ask. Just sit down and ask somebody. The worst that could happen is for them to say, I don't want to talk about it, or this is making me uncomfortable, or I'm offended by what you're saying. Who cares? But don't assume things. And which they all did. They just all assumed that, oh, she must have gotten that work done because of these rumors about Eddie. Now, let's talk about Eddie and these rumors. So the thing was this, is that I truly do believe that Giselle and Robin, because Robin does whatever Giselle wants, that Giselle and Robin brought up the whole Eddie thing on the show because they don't like Wendy and they wanted to get at her. Wendy and Robin were cool up until a certain point, and I don't know if Giselle got into Robin's ear because Wendy and Giselle didn't get along, and of course Giselle always has to have an ally. When she doesn't like someone, she has to have someone else join her in not liking that person. So I don't know if she got into Robin's ear and then Robin turned on Wendy as well. But they did bring up the Eddie thing. Giselle brought up the Eddie thing because she doesn't like Wendy and she wanted to bring some heat to Wendy. Because I didn't know that this rumor stemmed from a blog, a very small blog that no one really reads or that no one really pays any attention to. Because Wendy said that this was on a blog that was read just by hundreds of people. You brought it onto a show that is seen by millions. So obviously you wanted to attack me or attack my marriage in some way just to be dirty, which I agree with Wendy with that. Because it didn't come from Page Six. It didn't come from, I can't even think of People magazine. It came from some unknown blog. I don't know what blog they're referring to. I don't know. So for her to take something from a really trashy blog onto a show and kind of like, she knew what the effect was. Giselle knew what the effect was going to be, that people were going to believe this and they were going to run with it. And then they give it to Ashley, and then they used Ashley to bring it to Wendy like that. It's just, wow. This is real mean girly. So they go on about that, and I thought to myself, yeah, Wendy, you're making a really good point. They were just trying to attack her and attack her marriage because they have, well, I can't say they, because Giselle has nothing going on. And maybe Giselle is really jealous of Wendy, that Wendy has a loving husband, has a successful marriage, and she's doing her thing. And Giselle is out here bringing back her ex-husband to portray this pretend relationship. So that's my review of the Real Housewives of Potomac. It was all over the place. Yeah, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe, and I will definitely talk to you later.